Well, hello everybody. We had a request the other week, probably the other month, and it was to compare the Cricket with the LittleStar. So we have got the Cricket, and we're going to pitch that.
Join the channel or join Patreon for early release of all videos, and please do like, comment and subscribe.
And I need one more peg and a pole. Okay, for now we'll use one pole in this, because to be honest, what I have found with this is that you can actually get away with one pole, because especially if you pitch it quite high. I'm not going to worry about heights. I think we sort of dwell and concentrate on heights a little bit too much, so I'm not actually going to go into heights. I didn't bring a tape measure. This clearly is a fairly high pitch, and you can make this higher or lower, of course. If you have a pole, then you could put a pole here, and that would actually just tighten up the door there, a little bit. But this is more of a comparison video than an exact, we have to get this pitch absolutely spotless type of video. Just generally tighten up. To be fair, if this one's brought round there a bit more, then that would tighten that up more as well. I would recommend your stuff sacks that these things get stuffed in. I would recommend putting the stuff sack over the top of your pole, just to give some protection to the to the very, very top of these. So I am just going to, because I haven't done that and I can't be bothered, then I am just going to loosen it off just a fraction, just so there's not too much pressure on that. You're obviously thinking, what the devil has he got here? We'll come on to this in a minute. Let's get the LittleStar out. I think what we'll do with the LittleStar, because if you pitch it in the traditional TrailStar, configuration, it's going to be quite low and not really a direct comparison with that. I think the only way that we can, get some degree of comparisonness with that is in a pitch where the front is now the back. So I think that is what we'll have to do, because with that you can at least get a little bit of height to it. So basically you pitch the back so it's square, and then you pitch the front in, at a slight angle, almost at like 45 degrees, but maybe not quite 45 degrees. We'll probably have to adjust it, to be fair, in a minute. You might actually probably need to adjust it to a bit more than 45 degrees actually. And we need, because that was probably the door at one time, so now we need a short cord here, because like I said, you know, when you're pitching traditionally, in fact actually no, I must have pitched it like this last time, because this is also but I must have just used, oh no, yeah, because this is a corner. I must have used a different corner last time. All right, so we'll put this one on this corner. Yeah, because I think what I did, because really this piece here, the name really should be at the back. That's why last time that one was the corner. But it just shows you can use any side of the LittleStar. You know, you're not limited to, you know, to having to use, you know, specific sides and edges and things. You can use any one. Normally with my walking poles I would bring a bung. I like to put a bung on the end, because that means I like to put the bung at the top, and you're also gaining that extra, you know, couple of inches in height. Whereas now, of course, I've got to use this as the top, and then that then digs into the ground, which makes altering height and adjusting it not so easy. All right, and we've got a long line there as well. All right, the only thing with pitching it like this, you do want to have long poles, but walking poles really, it's just regular, you know, like the type of pole that we would use in a pyramid type shelter won't really work like this. Because why I like walking poles is because you can wrap your cord, because you've got to wrap cord around it, and get there eventually, because you've got to wrap cord around it. It's not so easy to wrap cord, you know, around a regular tent pole versus a walking pole. If that hopefully makes, you know, a little bit of sense. Right, with pitch like this, one advantage is you actually use one less peg. The problem, as you can see, is that your outside pole really needs to be longer than the inside pole. So we're going to have to drop. Let's try that. If we angle this out a little bit as well, so it's more star shape, and get that fairly tight there. In this configuration, this pole needs to be longer than the inner pole. And obviously you could get the front, you know, down a little bit. It's not necessarily the best pitch. As I say, this is more a comparison video than, you know, an expert pitching video. Obviously you could get that lower. We've deliberately pitched that quite high. You know, you could get that pitched lower to the ground. If you use a pole for a door, then obviously you can make the door a little bit higher. But what I do like with this is that you can actually do it with one pole, and you know, you can tighten it up. You know, you can tighten it up, you know, quite nicely if you tighten it all up properly. And then you've got quite a storm worthy shelter, because you can crawl, you do have to crawl in, but even for me at 53 odd and arthritic knees that I can't bend properly now, you know, it's fine to get in and out. It's very spacious. We'll have a look. Ooh, like I said, you do have to, oh Bella, it is helpful to, oh God. It is helpful to kneel your way, you know, inside. It is helpful to kneel your way inside. Get on your hands and knees and have at it. Right, so let's get that. Oops, not that much. Right, so obviously there's plenty of videos that I've done using this. I'm 174 centimeters, 5'8" thereabouts, and you know, quite clearly there is oodles and oodles of space in here. And what I like about this more than the Dan what I like about this more than the Durston stuff that you can get out there is that, you know, you haven't got an inner, although you could take the inner out on that, of course. But you know, I've got all my space around, and it's here. And even if I've got the inner set up here, I can open the door, and then I've got all the space here, and you know, loads of porch space, which I think in these shelters is far superior to the Durstons, where your porch space is a tiny bit behind a pole over there in a different postcode that you can't use. And then the bit here in the Durston, it's kind of like small and insignificant and very flaccid. Sorry, Dan. Ron's got the superior product. But you know, what I like with, you know, with this, you know, is I've got everything, you know, and I'm undercover. You can make it a bit lower. This is one of my favourite MLD shelters. I have to say, the Cricket. This is a really nice shelter. Really nice. I highly recommend the Cricket. Highly recommend. He's a fanboy. He's only saying it because he's an MLD fanboy. But you know, you can see how much space, usable space there is under there. Okay, this is this configuration. Now obviously this is similar-ish, because obviously with that one you've got a long back. This is quite different. If you want to, first of all, obviously, all right, forget my pole, because this is why I like a bung. Oh, we can just about adjust it. All right, so first of all, obviously, if you want to come behind the pole, I think in the regular LittleStar, you probably have enough room, because I think these panels are 2 meters. I think in the traditional LittleStar, these panels are 2 meters 20, something like that. And in this, they're 2 meters. Ow, wow, 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 wow. Oh, fuck. My knees. He's only saying he likes these, Bella, because he's MLD fanboy. Really, he'd like a big palace. He'd like a Trump palace, really. He's only saying it because he's MLD fanboy. yeah, so, you know, you can't realistically lie at the back of this because your head oh, Pepper. Your head is almost doing a Laurel and Hardy out that car, you know. So you could lie at the back. You could, you might just get away with it. You know, as I say, I'm 5'8", and to be fair, it's close. It's not designed to be like this, but I'm just showing you because people were asking. Ooh. You know, and then obviously you could lie, you could lie this way, but the only problem with this way, this is why obviously with the cricket, when you're in the cricket, you're in the cricket. Obviously with this, when you're in this at the back, you know, there's the potential that a bit of you is either going to get outside or you're going to be right, you know, at the edges. That's the first thing. Obviously you could lie this way and you could put your head back here, and this is about as far back as I can go, you know, realistically. You could just about get away with that. The only thing is now when I sit up, I've got the pole right in my face, which when you sit up in that, because everything is a little bit longer and wider, you know, you're more here. But you could still do it. I mean, you could sit up here and do your stuff. It's not impossible, but it's not as convenient, you know, as over there. And the only other thing that you need to consider is, yes, you could sleep like this, but obviously your feet now are very close to here. To be fair, again, there probably is enough overhang that if it was raining, because the walls are over there, that you would probably be okay. And again, obviously, and I suppose the other thing is, with the cricket, you would easily only get one person in the cricket. You know, in this configuration, you could get two people. I do think you need probably waterproof bivvies or a raincoat over your legs or something. To be fair, I'm not saying that I could guarantee that you wouldn't get wet. But, you know, when you're lying like this, your feet, and as long as the wind is blowing that, I think if the rain was blowing, because if it's blowing down here, then it might be getting to you. So I do think you'd want a raincoat over your feet or a waterproof bivvy. You know, I'm being, he's MLD fanboy. You know, I'm just giving you ideas. But yeah, I mean, you would get two people in here, and as long as it wasn't, you know, howling a gale or something like that, you would, and you could get it a bit lower, of course. Again, this is probably at the back about 4 inches off the ground, but look at the amount of space, you know, that I've got in here. So if there was two of you, you could pitch the regular LittleStar like this and have, you know, have even more room. But you know, if you wanted extra protection along the edges, you know, you would have to pitch it a bit lower. But even a little bit lower, you've still got a decent amount of space in here. So, you know, actually you've got a two-person shelter versus a one-person shelter, you know, over there, over yonder. like I said, I really don't think it's, maybe I'll pitch it in the traditional configuration as well, but I don't think that's so much of an exact comparison, because you know, to get a close comparison you need to have height and, you know, and space around, whereas if you pitch this in the traditional configuration you're going to be much lower. Check out my videos that I've done on it. So really, in that way, I don't think it's a good comparison. I suppose indirectly, actually, what might be interesting, I just had a little bit of a thought. Again, if you were lying here, so you use that for storage, the only thing is if your dog goes over there it's going to be climbing over you, so not really ideal. But you know, in theory you could lie across here, and because the front is further apart, you know, than the back, I don't know what you can see, but you know, because the front is now further apart because of the star thing, you could in theory lie like this. Like I said, the only thing is, again, like, you know, I wouldn't guarantee that you wouldn't get wet, because you are quite close to the door. But unless it's very fine rain, it's unlikely to get in. And you know, I suppose if the rain was really howling and bouncing and everything, you know, then it might get in. But there is a surprising amount of, it's more spacious under here than is initialized, as it were. I think maybe my next trip, maybe back to the Brecons, I think it's going to be worth bringing this with me again and having a little bit more, you know, of it, especially in the summer, because I used it last winter when it was howling a gale up above, and you know, I pitched it in the traditional sense but quite low, and it was sheltered because I picked a sheltered spot, and that was, you know, that was really nice. It was, you know, it was compact. Check out that video if you oh well, there's 1,000 videos, and it's a good job I do it because I enjoy doing it. I think last month the channel gained 4 subscribers last month. We do it for the pleasure, we do it for the fun, not the glory. All right, bringing up the rear, I have to say that I was mightily impressed with the old Monkey. I really like this Monk. I have to say, it's probably not for the faint-hearted. It's probably not for the really inexperienced. It's probably not for really bad weather. You know, I think if you've got a lot of rain, if there's a lot of rain forecast, you know, to be fair, it's probably not for that. If you look at my videos from what's it called, I can't think what it's pretty called. The Brecon beacons. Right. We're probably not going to get a perfect pitch, but look at the video that I did in the old Breconies, because I know you're thinking, holy cows, that's not very high, but you as long as the weather's not too bad, if you make that one a bit longer, and if you make that one a bit longer, and then if you pull that up yonder like that, I don't know what you can see, like that, for example, you could even, yeah, something like that. And then you will just need to readjust your pegs at the back a bit, I expect. Again, I'm not going to do an exact pitch. This is more just to give you, you know, an idea. These aren't pitching videos as such. These are more, what can we do? Oops. These are more what can we do videos. And obviously you can get pitch ideas from these. And all you need to do really is just tweak them ever so. Now, that is not a bad little monkey shelter. And now we can get under here. Oh, what are you looking at up there? Come down here. And now in comes Bella and little Liz. Oh God. Oh, a smackaroo. Oh, a right smackaroo. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, God. Oh, right in the chopper chews. Oh, in the chopper chews again. Oh, Bella Wella. Oh. Well, we're showing you that there's plenty of room here. Legs are well inside. This is almost a cut down LittleStar. Oh, smacker chews, Bella. Come on, that's enough. Oh, Bella. Oh. And again, we had a little bit of rain, not a huge amount, but we had a bit of rain. And, you know, obviously I'm not on a mat. So, you know, bear in mind, obviously you need to add a couple of inches for being on a mat. And yes, we are, Bella, steady. We are touching, we are touching the back. Bella, ow, ow, ow. Oh, not very nice, is it? How would you like if I put my face, my hand in your mouth? Eh? Oh. You know, it's really not, you know, a massive problem touching the back. You know, and even if there's a bit of condensation, you know, like this, you've got it pitched off the ground, you know, a reasonable amount. Oh my God, comes the other one now. Oh, steady. Oh, steady, steady, Bella, steady. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I really didn't find it much of a problem, and I had a down jacket and a down sleeping bag, and it really wasn't a problem. I was brushing the back and it was a little bit damp, but it really wasn't. You know, if you're using a shelter like this, I think you're going to be you're not going to be a crybaby running home to mummy. You know, you're going to be able to, you know, mitigate it, deal with it, or not be a not be a silly little twat. You know, someone who's using this is going to know what they're doing. Isn't going to be a crybaby about a bit of condensation, are they? And we're rude about our subscribers. Like, mind you, the people who watch this probably they'll have clicked on and they would have bucketed off. It's no wonder we only had, oh, thank you, 4 subscribers last month. That's all. Anyone else who had a YouTube channel that had 4 subscribers in a month, what would they be doing, Bella? They'd be going, oh, I'm so sad. I'm not going to do the channel anymore. It's a disaster. I'm going to give up. It's not worth the effort. Oh, God. That's what they do. They go cry, they cry. They cry and they say, what's the point in all this effort? Well, we don't put any effort in. It doesn't matter, does it? We don't put any effort in. We don't give a flying monkeys, do we? We don't give a flying monkeys in the monkey tap. Eh? We do it because it's fun and it's funny, yeah. And half of a person watches, and that's more than fine. We got to get moving. It's pretty 6 o'clock in the evening. Yeah. Oh. And obviously when you're in here, you can do, I mean, this, Dan, this is better than a Durston. You know, I can be inside, as the actress said to the bishop, and I've still got a porch of a sort, of a description. I've still got a porch. I think Dan's got a funny side. I'm sure Dan laughs really. He's probably Tony's fanboy. You know, I think Dan's all right. It's too bad if he isn't, isn't it? They're funny. And that's sort of another ridiculously light, very minimalistic shelter for you. So you got your monk tap. Of the 3, in 3rd place, with an amazing bronze star, is the monk tap. Because for the average person, you know, clearly that's going to be too minimalistic, clearly. But if you want to save some weight, it's amazing. And of course, the other thing that you can do, watch my videos in Wales. Of course, you've got a line here and one here, so if you want to, and as I did in Wales, you don't have to put it in the middle here. You know, you could put your line, you know, there or there, and then give yourself a bit more headroom and have this. It's surprisingly spacious. I was really impressed with it. I was really impressed with that, actually, to be fair. And I think Ron is doing a super monkey tarp, which I think is more of a double. So that could be, that would be even better for people that want, you know, minimalistic, but just, you know, a little bit more space. In 2nd place, I never thought we'd say that the LittleStar comes 2nd, but I think of this quartet, in these configurations, for the average 1 person, if there's 2 of you, I give you the winner, the minimalistic winner. But if there's 1 of you, then I give you 2nd place, the LittleStar, the little one, the small one. The teeny weeny one. If this was a regular LittleStar in regular configuration, for 99% of the time, I would still go, and you were only getting 1 shelter, then I would be saying that LittleStar is, you know, would be the winner, because it tackles pretty much everything, and you can pitch it pretty much anywhere. But we're not in the regular TrailStar. It's not in this competition, Tony, so don't get too excited. We're dealing with what we've got in front of us. So in second place, we've got the LittleStar in this configuration. In really, 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 really bad weather, in the regular configuration, low down, you've now got your winner. But I want to compare like for like, as close as we can. And then we've got the winner, the old Crickety Cricket, the Kevin Peterson, the Shane Warne. This is so. So yeah, so we've got the, you know, we've got the Cricket. Again, this is a viewing thing, not a pitching thing. So, and then you've got the Cricket. When I'm in this, I'm thinking, this is really nice. I really like this. It's really nice. It does the job. It does what it's designed to do really well. And then when I'm in this, I'm kind of thinking, yeah, this is pretty decent. Like I said, there is almost an argument that the Monk is better than this. But I think it's an argument that you would probably fail in winning, mainly because the reason why I say that, and you know, I think we can back it up, is that with the Monk, you can go to the back, across the back, and you've got, you know, a decent amount of overhang. Well, there's the possibility that rain would get to you, but it's more of a possibility than, you know, traditional rain that isn't, you know, howling, you know, wind blown, because I mean you wouldn't use it in those conditions anyway, or that really light misty rain that just drifts everywhere, you know. But in traditional rain, I really like that Monk. As I say, the only disadvantage with this in this configuration is I don't know how much coverage. I think I will take this on my, I think I will take this and then see how we get on, because it will be interesting to see, because I haven't used it in this configuration. But anyway, back to the winner. I get a move on, Tony. But then, and also weight for weight, you know, the Monk is obviously the lightest. I don't know the weight of this compared to the LittleStar. There's probably not much in it, really. Bottoms up, there's probably not much in it. And yeah, the TrailStar's really, oh, hang on, where are you? Yes, the LittleStar, you know, is really nice, but I think in the LittleStar it would be a case of, I hope rain isn't getting to me. In this, the rain isn't getting to you, if that makes any sense, because it's, you know, the coverage is over there. I will try that. I think that is my next, I think that's my next experiment. But you know, and then you've got so much space here. I mean, again, I'm not on a mat, obviously, so you'd have to add an inch or two, but you know, I'm 5'8", and you know, if you were 6 foot or something, you'd easily, you know, at 6 foot, you'd easily get under here. And the other thing that I obviously like with this is, now, because, you know, this is longer, because the LittleStar, the panels are like, you know, they're shorter. Now I'm sitting here. Now I'm sitting here and I can do my cooking here, and I haven't got that pole there. So I mean, you know, this is the clear winner. To me, I have to be honest, you can't really compare them. And I knew you couldn't compare them, but it was, you know, it's an interesting thing. And if anyone has watched all of this video, which has gone on forever. Most people that do these videos are like 2-minute videos and that's it, but whatever. Yeah, so that's your doodads. It's really, it is nice. I do like the Cricket, and like I said, it is ridiculously light. There's no zips, there's nothing that can break on it. I would take this over a Durston Doodas every day of the week. There is, to me, no competition. Sorry, Lamb. Why is he picking on Durston? I don't know, really. It's just, I think because everybody talks about it, you know, it's got such a fan base, and it's like the new thing, and I just don't think it's as good as this. But there you go. That's the beauty of choice and competition and all of that stuff. Anyway, I forgot my tea. I made a tea. I put it in one of those, like a tea flask thing, so I could just drink it straight from that. I think I probably put it down on the kitchen table and forgot it. Anyway, we'll put all this away. I'll take a couple of photographs, put all this away and head back. We haven't done too long a walk today. We're just parked over there because obviously, as I've said in other videos, when you have a young dog, I brought them all with me because I knew we weren't going too far, and I was pretty confident Lassie would be okay for this. But when you have a very, very young dog, she's only 8 months old, and they say like 5 minutes walk per month. So at 8 months old, if that was 10 minutes, that'd be like 80 minutes. But obviously she's 8 months, so 5 minutes, that's like 40 minutes. So to be fair, we do, on average, it probably is about that. I'm not including her running around at home and in the garden and everything like that, but it probably is about that on average, because we do a walk in the morning, but we don't go that far, and that may be maybe 20 minutes, and then we maybe probably do a walk in the evening that's maybe half an hour or something, you know. So and some days, if the weather's miserable, I don't bother going out anyway. That's a day off to let her joints and bones recover. Other days, you know, we might do a little bit more. I will just mention the elephant in the room. I think Ron is starting to stop doing these tie-out points. They're really not needed. The one on the back, this one back here, you know, is useful just to keep the back, because it's a big back panel. So, you know, that one I do use, you know, from time to time if needed, just to give a little bit of, you know, not support, but, you know, just to give it so it bounces back out a bit quicker in the breeze. But I believe these ones here, he's not doing anymore. And to be fair, I've never even attached bungee to these. I've never even bothered. They're really not needed. There aren't any on the LittleStar, and I think the My Trail Star, there are some all the way around, and the new ones, he's taken them off again, but they were never on the original. You really don't need them, so I really do think people need to not cry so not get so upset, you know, about them. I really don't think. I mean, I've never missed them. I've rarely, if ever, used them, and I've never missed them. The one in, like I said, the one in the back on that, and the back of the Duo Mid or the Super Mid, the ones at the back on those bigger panels. Yeah, they're useful, but that's really about it. You know, maybe you can, I think they are on the side panels as well. You know, because, and the other thing I've noticed as well, I'm gonna have a bit of a moan now. The other thing that I've noticed is that people put their lines all the way around. And not only do I think that looks a bit silly, and that's fine. I mean, I probably look silly as well. So, I mean, I don't worry about looking silly particularly. But the thing is, if the wind is blowing, this way, you look at your shelters, and yes, you know, it might blow in a little bit, but these shelters are designed to be quite flexible, so you actually want them blowing in and out a bit. But I really don't see the point in putting lines here, because if the wind's blowing this way, it's not needed over here anyway. And also, when you look there, it's kind of blowing in. So yeah, I could, you know, I can understand the thing, and I would use that from time to time just to give this one, you know, a little bit so it, you know, bounces back, so it doesn't come in quite so much. But it's still on bungees, so it's not support anyway. But if you look at the way the wind blows, the panels that are to the opposite edge of the wind, as it were, whatever you want to call it, they blow out. So what's the point in putting lines over there and there and there when the wind's blowing the material out? It just seems, anyway, I've had my moan. I do like this monk. There's a funny monk. And again, I mean, you could, you know, if you had another pole and you were undercover, you know, you could, I wouldn't put pressure on it, but you could, if you really wanted to, just put a line from there to a pole and down, but not under pressure, just so it's holding it like that. But I mean, I tend not to bother, and I really don't think it's necessary. I wouldn't want to put too much pressure on there. I don't think the Cuban would, you know, it's stuck on. I'm sure it's really good and tight, and I don't think that would go anywhere. And I do think you could, I think, use this as a back, because I think on the poncho, on the Pro poncho, I think this is like a back, but I think here it's actually too far in. It would make the back probably too high. I think on the Pro poncho it's probably more there. Yeah, just looking at it like that, you kind of could, but I think you'd be very, very, you know, if you had a pole coming up and then to the ground, but you'd be very, very close to the ground. You wouldn't have much, obviously it's not, I haven't pegged it properly, but yeah, I don't think it wouldn't be particularly good that way. I think it would work, but you'd be very, very cramped under it. Well, there you have it. So we've put it back together again just to get a couple of pictures of it. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. Questions and comments, put them down below, of course.